Okay, let it roll.
All right. In honor of May being Military Appreciation Month, we've have Mark here, Mark Sanders, to talk about his military career. So if you want to start off by telling us what branch you were in and when and where you were at, where you were stationed.
I was in the Air Force. I got drafted during the Vietnam era, and I didn't want to be in the Army, so I joined the Air Force. I worked for Alcoa as a draftsman, and they could actually get me a deferment, which I went to college to be an engineer, but I'm not an engineer, so I quit that, and I thought I could pursue something like drafting in the military. So I joined the Air Force, and the recruiter said, sure, you can do that. I signed up, and I went to basic training in Texas, went to tech school in Denver, and then I waited to get a duty assignment in graphics, which never happened. So I finally went down and talked to somebody and said, where do I need to switch to get a duty assignment? He said, how about weapons? I said, okay. So I signed up for weapons and went to tech school for that. And then I was stationed in Michigan, and then I went to Tucson, and by then Vietnam was really hot. This was 67. And I went to Tucson and trained on the F4. And then I went to Vietnam. I went to Da Nang, which was the biggest northernmost Air Force base in Vietnam, big base, and a big Navy base. And because it was so northern, a lot of Viet Cong activity around, because it was close to the border. So anyway, I was on a loading crew. We were loading F4s, and I worked the night shift, which was 6 to 6. Frequently there were rocket attacks at Da Nang because it was close to the border, and it was easy for the Viet Cong to get in and shoot off rockets. And you know, every once in a while they'd hit a plane or something, which was a big payoff for them. So we're loading bombs, and on February 3rd of '68, which was the Tet Offensive, start of the Tet Offensive, a big Viet Cong push. The plane I was loading, it was about 1 in the morning, and we were loading 500-pound bombs, and I was underneath the plane, and the tail of the plane took a direct hit with a rocket and blew up and knocked me out temporarily. My crew member Jack was in the cockpit, and it's a pretty good jump from the cockpit to the ground in a fighter. The tail of the plane blew up. He got a lot of the blast, and he just jumped up and threw himself out of the cockpit and hit the ground. And when he hit the concrete, that woke me up, because I was out. I mean, he hit the concrete, and the plane is, you know, burning profusely. So we got up and ran out in front of the plane and got in a ditch. And then we tried to remember from tech school what happens when the planes burn, because weapons do different things. I mean, some of them ignite, some of them don't. Some of them just burn as the fuel. We could not remember. So we said, we better get out of the front of this thing, because we're just looking at it right there, burning.
Wow.
So we crawled on down the ditch, and that was it. I went to the Navy hospital, big hospital, but they were absolutely overrun with Army, with injured Army guys, propped up all around the walls and everything. It was awful. This was at about 2 in the morning now, on February 3rd. So we spent a couple nights there, and I was burned, and my friend was burned. So we were just wrapped up, and they'd given us morphine, and we were really very comfortable. But the injuries were so bad. with the guys with internal injuries, and I remember the hospital got hit twice when I was there, and the nurses and the aides just had to grab these guys and pull them out of the beds to the floor with all these internal injuries, and that was really sobering. The hospital was full, absolutely full. So they sent me to Tachikawa, Japan, to a burn ward there.
How far away was that from where you were stationed?
Japan? I was in Vietnam, not all that far, and it was a nice medical transport. So we went to Tachikawa, both of us, to this burn ward, and that was as sobering as the Da Nang hospital had been. These Army guys caught in like a half track that burns, and they that was probably the worst part of the whole experience for me, seeing those guys. So anyway, I was at the Navy hospital for I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 weeks, and then they sent me home to Scott Air Force Base in Illinois, because that was close to my hometown, which was Indiana. So I went to Scott Air Force Base, and I remember there I got promoted, I guess because I'd been injured. I mean, that was the reason. I remember seeing LBJ have his nationwide address where he said, I will not run, I will not serve if drafted. He was quitting. He was not going to run for re-election because of Vietnam. So anyway, that was it. And then so I'd been a bomb loader for approximately 2 years. And they gave me my choice of base, and I chose Davis-Monthan in Tucson, and loved it, just loved it. Loved the desert, loved everything about it. I'd been there before to train on the F-4. So I went to Tucson, and I was able to cross-train into graphics. And the last 2 years, I ran a graphic shop, which was as nice as the first 2 years wasn't. And they gave me when I got promoted, I got a Purple Heart. And I was looking at it today, and my dad's ID bracelet from the Navy during World War II is in the same container. And he was an X-ray technician at Treasure Island, which is just off of San Francisco.
Okay.
So there was a Navy facility there, and
Wow.
he did that in the Second World War.
Wow.
Which I don't really think about much, but
so the
anyway.
Purple Heart, I mean, that's a pretty big.
Well, you get it when
deal.
you get injured. I mean, you can break your leg and get a Purple Heart. I mean, I remember, yeah, there are Purple Hearts and there are Purple Hearts.
So total, how many years were you?
4.
4 years.
3 years and 9 months.
Okay.
Because they had a program then. I'd been taking classes from the U of A in Tucson, and they had a program called an early out program. If you were going to go to college, they would let you out up to 3 months early. So I applied for that and got it, and got out in April of 1970.
And then after that?
I went to school in California in a very interesting time. The school was on the border of Berkeley and Oakland, a small fine art school, and the beginning of the height of the anti-Vietnam era. And there were, the Black Panthers were real active in Oakland. The Weathermen made bombs and bombed stuff in the U.S.
So did you try to hide the fact that you were
I
in
did,
the military?
I did.
Do you wish you hadn't?
Now I do, but then there just wasn't any question that you did. I mean, it was so unpopular.
Wow.
You just didn't bring it up, other than the fact that I got the GI Bill to go to college, because the art school is very expensive. I worked all the time, but yeah, I didn't really. I got out in '70. I probably didn't really openly acknowledge that I was in the service and in Vietnam until the mid '90s.
Wow.
Probably. It was just never very relevant. And I was a graphic artist and a book designer, and got it and worked in publishing and really worked with a lot of liberals. So it was not a very popular concept.
Do you still have people you talk to that you served with?
No,
No.
no, I don't. I have a good friend here who was in Vietnam. He was a helicopter electronics repair guy, and he traveled with the helicopter squadron. And we've shared a lot of the same stuff. You know, just the nature of Vietnam, and yeah. But none of the guys I served with, I have no idea where they are. I remember going to the chow hall in Da Nang, big chow hall, and the food, I mean, was certainly adequate, but not very good for breakfast. And like the eggs were instant and real runny. I came into the chow hall one day, and they had Red Cross girls serving, which was an incredible treat. That never happened. And they had real eggs, and you could order your eggs.
How you wanted them.
Yes, exactly. How you
Wow.
wanted them, which was astounding, and it never happened. Never even remotely happened. So, you know, I gave him my order, got my food. I'm eating, and in comes the five-star general in charge of the whole Vietnam campaign and more, Westmoreland. And he's coming in with a couple of senators. So I thought, well, that's why. That's why the food is so good this morning. That's kind of a cynical comment, but I thought that was interesting, which kind of illustrates the politics of it, you know?
So where are you at today? Where are you living? What are you and your wife
I
doing?
have a wonderful wife. She was my childhood sweetheart.
No way.
We met in art class. I was a senior, she was a junior.
Oh, that is special.
Oh, we went, you know, then she went her way, I went my way. We both got married, we both got divorced. We got together later, but we've been together 4 years. I hope I'm right on that.
Wow.
And,
Linda, is he right?
43, you had the right number.
43, I had them backwards. And I've had a really nice life for a long time. I'm really grateful. We've invested in houses, rentals, and I'm just very happy. I'm very lucky. I was my Vietnam friend's wife does a lot of veteran stuff, and I was asking her. She feeds homeless. And I asked him what the average age of a homeless vet is, and he said they're all Iraq, Afghanistan, Desert Storm era, so 40s and 50s. So I'm a lot more fortunate than a lot of people were. I'm very happy and grateful for everything I have.
Well, we are really grateful for you, and
That's kind of you.
I
Thank you.
really appreciate your time coming in. It was kind of short notice. My broker said, "Oh, he's going to come in tomorrow."
No, this is fine.
I'm like, "Oh, okay." What else? I know I probably have so many questions. I mean, do you remember the feeling you had when you were told you were going to be going to Vietnam, or was it kind of just like, "Well, it's my time"?
Well, I joined. Yes, my dad was in the military. I could have gotten out with a deferment from Alcoa. They got me a deferment. I just thought, well, I didn't want to go to college at the time. It didn't suit me. And, you know, I just kind of thought that's what you do. It's got to obviously be important because the country's doing it. And now I'm a lot more cynical about that. But I just thought that was the thing I would do. And it was just, I mean, everybody I knew that I graduated with was either in college to avoid the draft, or in the military, or trying to work with a doctor to get a deferment. to avoid the military, but it was an issue for everybody. I just kind of thought that's what I need to do.
Being in the military for almost 4 years, do you think it shaped you?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I think you're a kid, you graduate from high school. Frequently, I would say my family was probably lower middle class, but I didn't have any issues with the police or anything like that. I had a good record. I had decent grades, but I think going in the military and really being forced to comply, having to be a certain place at a certain time, wearing a certain uniform in a certain condition, I think all those things teach you a lot of valuable life lessons. I see people who never went through that and they never learned those life lessons. I think it makes you a much more well-rounded adult when you accept the fact that somebody over you has authority, when you accept it. And it was interesting with the basic training. Some kids, some guys, refused to accept it, and some of them went. There was a suicide in my barracks in Texas, and there were lots of drug-related issues where you could use drugs to get out of the service if you wanted to, and a few people did. And it also, I lost 15 pounds and was in better shape when I came out of it than I'd ever been in my life. I think really it was very positive for me in terms of my character, really. I think much of the big leap you take is accepting the fact that somebody else can tell you what to do. And there's always somebody else. It's either something you believe in, a religion you believe in, or something. There's always somebody else, telling you what to do. And you just have to accept that that's life. So I think it was very positive.
Well, again, thank you so much for taking the time to come.
Yes, ma'am.
And tell us about yourself. We really appreciate it, and we appreciate your service to our country.
Thank you.
All right, Sierra.
Cut.